Brothers and sisters around the world, this is Comrade Zero. I want to apologize for my long hiatus. But today, I rarely mark dates on my broadcast. Today is the 7th of January, 2015. And today, Muslim extremists attacked the offices of a weekly magazine of satire named Charlie Hebdo. And this show is dedicated to the martyrs for freedom who were murdered on this date. There have been many issues I could talk about today. We know that the epidemic of police crime against unarmed or lightly armed opponents is a problem we've been dealing with for almost 5 months. We also know that they've attempted to deflect this by using the deaths of 2 policemen who did not deserve to die. They were killed by a mentally unbalanced person who was just out to kill people. And the forces of reaction have attempted to use this to discredit the protest movements. But that's all I'll say about it for now. Since probably this will be a continuing issue, I'll return to it later. Other outrages with the budget that was passed to keep the government running through next year included a rider that was supported by the Obama administration that allows the investment banks to do the same exact things, to develop the same toxic assets as before, and now there's a written guarantee that the United States government, we the people, will bail them out for this error. This is, of course, is a horrid injustice and a wrong that I could go on for 15 minutes about, but today is dedicated to these martyrs. Now, the news is filled with this, so I'm not going to give any backstory. We know what's happened. And on this day, we must remember that people who seek freedom everywhere always face death. Sometimes it's from oppressive, repressive governments. Sometimes it's a civil war. Sometimes it's a minority trying to survive with a repressive majority. But freedom is also our voices to speak as we wish, to write as we wish, to find what we want to find funny. These are all part of the American, the British, and the French, and all the subsequent revolutions and democratic movements in the liberal democratic world. This is something we take very seriously, and the French maybe even more so than we. After all, they have a great revolutionary tradition as well. I almost find myself at a loss when these sorts of things happen. Remember the threats against the Danish magazine that had cartoons that mocked Muhammad, which of course certain Muslims, maybe many Muslims, take as blasphemy. Well, one person's blasphemy is another person's sense of humor. I don't want to be glib or light and say that these people should just get over it. But the fact is, when we've been attacked by Muslim extremists, they attack our symbols. They attack metaphors. Remember, September 11th here in the United States, they attacked a capitalist building, a military building, and possibly were hoping for something else. So they struck at symbols. I'm not minimizing the deaths of people in these situations, but that's what they struck at. But that's been their tendency all over the world, is to strike at symbols. And today, they struck at a magazine they'd already been mad at before and firebombed just several years ago at Charlie Hebdo. But they've come back, and I believe they will come back again. Because I know my French brothers and sisters, even though Charlie Hebdo has made fun of both right and left, religious, non-religious, long may they wave in doing so, because that is part of our heritage. And it's one of the greatest things that we can bestow, and we can so easily lose if we let certain elements gain control of society. Certainly, major mass media and the seemingly endless number of channels available through satellites and cable would seem to dull our senses. Yet today they've covered this fairly thoroughly. After all, it's a major event. But we cannot give up. I certainly hope, in fact, I predict they will bring that magazine back to publication as soon as they can. The French intellectual tradition, their tradition of dissent, their tradition of free speech has long been held close to their hearts ever since the Revolution. We must keep up this fight. We have to realize that in being free people, no matter if you're a rightist or a leftist or a centrist, or you're not even on the map, we prize these freedoms to be able to criticize openly, to even mock openly, but also the free airing of grievance gives it a chance for grievances to be repaired. And we must remember this. We can never cave in to any extremists. Remember, there's right-wing and left-wing extremists in the world who do damage. Right-wing extremists have committed murder in this country. I myself have some Muslim acquaintances, and I fear for them right now because so many knee-jerk reactions will want to take shots at Muslims, thinking that the 1.5 billion Muslims in this world are all like this minority that seeks a violent solution to their problem. Do not retaliate, because after all, I'm not going to take the time to recall to you all the crimes done by right-wing people in this country, blowing up a federal building in Oklahoma City, how many abortion providers have been murdered, how many clinics have been bombed, set on fire. That would be like me saying we should ban all Christianity because of these people. That, of course, is irrational and would be the worst kind of knee-jerk reaction. It's just as bad to say that even if there's 500,000 Muslims in the world that favor militant action to bring about their grim view of the world to all, the other 1.45 billion are not like this. In fact, earlier today, one of the imams of Paris came out immediately and denounced these murders. These people were not carrying out the will of Allah, nor were they carrying out vengeance for the Prophet Muhammad. Today I will finish my show not with my usual closure, because my French is not very good, so I hope my brothers and sisters in France forgive me for any mispronunciations or incorrect inflections. But I want to finish the show with the following phrases. Un jour, qui nous sommes tous Français. Viva la République de France! And viva la Révolution!